started about 20-25 minutes back, but due to some connection problem, I got disconnected halfway. But anyhow, we will get back to that one. At the very outset, I would like to show you on this PPT that is the session 2 introduction to QGIS interface. Most basic things are going to be covered here. And moreover, it is specially meant for those people who are actually getting familiarized with this open source software. QGIS is one of the open source softwares, one of the robust softwares, almost in what I should say, in competition with the ArcGIS, ArcView and all that, Arc company. So it is almost going as robust as them. And some of the things, some of the features are even much better than the professional ArcView. And similarly, there are always, whenever you are going to download, there are going to be many other softwares come along with this QGIS group. Okay, so keeping that one in mind, at the very outset, I would like to give you when you are going to download. For that download, you are supposed to go ahead with what? For the download, you are supposed to go ahead with that www.qgis.org is the hello. When you go for that one, then you are going to get the QGIS that is going to be more on this line. That is going to be more on this line. What you can see is after download is complete, then when you are going to open at the very beginning, you are going to get one screen like this. In that you can get OSGeo for W Shell 1 open source geographic software, which is dealing with something else. Then QGIS desktop with 3.16.5 with GRASS. It is yet another image processing software. Then QGIS desktop 3.16.5. So this you are supposed to click. Okay. When you are going to double click this one, you are going to get opened with. You are going to get opened with this kind of thing, which is going to be QGIS 3.16. QGIS 3.16. So here what happened is that it takes few seconds to open. Okay, it takes just few seconds to open. If once it opens, you are going to get this kind of screen right now, what you can have here. And here there are going to be two parts actually. Here there are going to be two parts. And one is with the completely blank and other one with a blank small rectangular box with new empty project title with new empty project. And it is also going to give you that default project, means the projection what most of the geography students have studied that one at the undergraduate level itself, that in that one of the projections is WGS 84, that is a geographical coordinate system, and that is going to be the part of that one. And one more will be blank here. If at all you have already saved some of this kind of things in your that PC, all those which are related to the QGIS will be seen here as old projects or earlier projects or previous project. And from that, you can actually select one or two, whichever you wish to do, to continue that one further, if at all you have saved. If you are not saved, then what happens? You can always start with the new empty project. So when you go for that new empty project, you are going to get all that, the map canvas it is called, and that is going to be seen in the next screen, where most of the things are going to be basically the components that you are familiar with many other softwares as such. But here because it is a QGIS, we should be in a position to make out what all those screens that we require. Okay, so here in this screen, I would like to show you that the number one, which I have shown you, you are all familiar with, and most of you may be very familiar with this particular QGIS also. As a participants, you may be there, and as a result, it may be a repetition for most of you. But for those who are new for this particular software, for them it is very advantageous. The first number, what you can see on your screen, that shows you the menu bar, wherein the project, edit, view, layer, settings, plugins, like that, many such menus are there. And the second one is actually otherwise referred to as toolbar. And the third one is referred to as layer bar, layer panel. And this layer panel at time is also having the browser panel also. And depending on what all you are going to open, some of those are going to come on the left side of the screen. And when you go for processing tools, that is going to come on the right side. That is the fifth one. But in between third and fifth, what you have is the fourth one, that is called map canvas. So all your data that you are going to bring in, this QGIS is viewed in this particular area. It is visible in this particular area, that is fourth. So that is called as map canvas. You can do many things here. You can reduce them, you can enlarge them, you can drag them. Okay, you can actually play with them, zoom in, zoom out. So many other things can be done. We will go one by one, that one. Then the sixth one is basically the taskbar or status bar. So this is going to give you a lot of information about the map, which is there on the canvas, and the maps coordinate system it gives, if at all it is georeferenced. If it is not georeferenced, then it is going to give you basically such type of information that on the screen, whatever that columns and rows are there of the pixels, that information it gives. If the map is already georeferenced, then it will give you latitudes and longitudes of the map, especially the cursor on that map, where the cursor is going to be, it is going to give the cursor position with reference to the latitude and longitude. That is also going to be seen. Then here it is going to give you the magnifying, to what extent the given map is actually enlarged or reduced. Okay, whether it is 100% or 80% or 50% or 20% or even more than 100%, that can be actually seen here. Yet another, and degree of rotation also is possible. By changing that degree of rotation, you can actually make the map to turn little this side, that side, and all that. So depending on what it is required, then you can also render, and it also shows you that what default that projection is actually assigned to that particular thing. So these are some of the things. And in the seventh one, we have what is that called locator bar. So menu bar, toolbar, and the layer panel, map canvas, processing toolbox, as well as the status bar, and the last one is the locator bar. When we go to the locator bar, it will give you a lot of options just for searching various other things that we wanted to search, that can be done. But that is required at the advanced stage. We immediately will not go for anything extra on that. So the things what they are actually here, I have marked here: the menu bar, the toolbar, the browser panel and the layer panel, the map canvas, the processing toolbox, the status bar, and the locator bar, whatever that I have shown you on this particular screen. Hope each one of you got the idea here. Now, after this, I will take you back to the screen sharing. Okay. And in that, I am going to get you back. Okay. I will get you back to the launching of the QGIS. So once if you have downloaded, as I told you, for downloading, it is www.qgis org. Okay, when you go to that one, you are going to get number of options there, both of 32-bit as well as 64-bit. In that, you are going to get the most latest, that is 3.20. Okay, 3.20.11 is there, 3.20.5 is there. So those are the latest ones. But the most stable version is going to be the one right now for us, and I am going to use 3.16.5, 3.16.5. So that is what you are actually expected to. And in view of that one, I will take you to my desktop. I will take you. So once you download, when you want to launch at the very beginning, you are going to get this kind of thing. And when you double click on the desktop, the QGIS is going to launch. This I have shown you as the first slide. And now what is going to come would be the second slide. So now what you could see that QGIS 3.16 Hanover. This is a long-term release actually, and it will be stable for quite a long time. There are going to be most reliable, what we should say, the plugins. So those plugins and all that going to help us relatively more. And those things that we are going to take into consideration for going ahead with the basics of QGIS interface. So I hope most of you must have already had installed your QGIS. If you have not done that one, right now, if you have internet connection, wherever you are right now, you can go for www.qgis.org. From there, you can download that one. And as I was telling you, after clicking there, the QGIS desktop, now this particular page is open. When I have clicked here, you can see that new empty project with a default projection of WGS84 EPSD4326 is going to be opened. And here, as I told you, there are live, what you can see, the menu bar, then toolbars, which I have opened. All these toolbars are seen, and some of the toolbars are going to get activated depending on what is going to be there in the layer. What is going to be there in the layer. So here in this, you can see that on the extreme left side, there is a browser. This browser is going to have, okay, the sources of data, both what you have saved on your PC as.
Hello, Badiga sir. Hello. Hello, Badiga sir.
What is possible on the web mapping services and online, so many other things are available. All those possible sources are actually can be are available for us from this browser panel. Okay, and in the browser panel, 1 minute, sir.
No, sir, your screen is not changing.
Okay, it's not changing.
No, it's not changing.
1 minute, sir. Again, I will take it to this. It is screening actually. It is showing you are screen sharing now. I think I will refresh, sir. Now I will also join with my mobile, sir. I will get any problem. Okay. But whenever phone comes, no, then it will get connected, disconnect. That's the only thing. I will join from this one also, sir. Yeah.
Okay. Hello, all participants. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
The issue is, what I could see in the list of participants. Okay, the name Kanveer Preet Singh has been coming as a default name for several persons, those who are logging in. Okay, so now the thing is, who is really Kanvir Preet, that I'm not able to understand, because it has appeared more than 15 times. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. At least 13 times it is repeated. Profile photos are different, but again it is login as a Kanvir Preet. So please see who is Kanvir Preet. If it has been shared, please stop sharing. If it is not shared, then it is happening like a cloning kind of thing. Okay, so so I will just share from my side.
Sir, actually this is happening if we are joining through our group. Actually, in the WhatsApp group, that same person has shared the Zoom link. That's why anyone is joining through that link, we are getting with that name.
No,
but if we are,
please don't do this way, because for everyone there is a link been registered. For everybody there is a link registered. So when you have done the Zoom Meet registration, that means you have been assigned a particular ID code like that. Okay, so when you join through your own link, then only your name will appear. Otherwise, it will all appear like as a Kanvir Preet. So, madam, you please
1 minute.
share the link with them. Okay, let them their own link.
yes, sir, from the mail, if we are joining, then we are getting our name only.
Yes, so I expect you to all to join through that link, because I could see the profile photo different, but name is Kanvir Preet. Okay, right now let it be. For next session, I request all to join with your own link. That link what I have been communicating through the Zoom registration portal and all, it will be common for all the sessions. All 5 days, it will be the same link. So no need to share that link again and again with everyone. Please save that link with yourself on your computer system. Okay, so you can access it easily. No need to go back to the WhatsApp group. You all have got a authorized link of Zoom Meet. So please use your own link. Otherwise, it appears like Ranveer Preet. So when you put attendance also, it will be a problem. For attendance also, it will be a problem.
I will continue. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I hope each one of you are getting this one. And when we are supposed to start with a new project, what we require to do is we have to click here in this portion where my cursor is moving around. You see, if we click here, it is going to give us a completely open space. This is what the map canvas that we are getting. Okay, map canvas. As I told you, this is this side on the extreme left. We have the browser panel, we have the layer panel, and we have even OSM place search and various other things. Whichever I am actually activating here, they are going to be there. So keeping that one in mind, we will go ahead with the first aspect, that is basics of the QGIS interface. Under that, first of all, I would like each one of you to be familiar with basically. So if I go for this one, in the menu bar, what you are going to see is the project. First one is the project, that is under that menu bar. If I click there, there is going to be a drop down box which contains the new. New is going to open the new canvas. Okay, then new from template. If at all you have already prepared the template and you have actually saved them, it is going to open that one. Then if you are going to click the open, which is going to open from the one which you have stored already, maybe in a geo package as one of the storage device, and where you can store, or you can have your own folder and store whatever you are going to do, depending on where you would like to store. Then open recent one. So here it is going to store all those things that you have already worked with by any chance, if you have already worked, and it is going to give you whatever other that projects that you have worked. And if you have already done some of the projects and if you have saved, so as I told you, when you open this particular QGIS in the canvas, it is going to give the new empty projects are already done. If at all you are already done, some of those are going to be seen here. Okay, so that is going to be one that is recently opened. Then to close that one, you can actually go for the closing, then save as and all that. They are going to be different ones. When you are going to go for save to, you have option here. You can actually save it as a template or templates, or you can also go for geo package as a folder in itself where all your QGIS things can be stored there depending on your project. Then even PostgreSQL is also there. That is yet another thing, but it comes in the advanced stage of your learning. Then comes to the revert and properties. When you go here for the properties, here, if at all you are going to have a specific objectives of getting the measurements of the geometric properties, measurement of the geometric properties like length or area or various other such measurements that you are going to do, for that you require totally a different sort of project that is called PCS. I hope each one of you must be knowing. PCS is projected coordinate system. It is in meters. Okay, all that distance and everything is going to be in meters. Whereas it is a geographical coordinate system, what we say GCS, which is going to have the angular location with latitudes and longitudes and all that, where that particular project is not going to help us to get the measurements. But only when we convert that GCS into PCS, then only measurements are possible. If at all we wanted to know the length, breadth, or area, or whatever other features are there in terms of height and all that, everything can be done. Even that data generation, data extraction, okay, all those things are going to be possible only when we change the project. For that reason, if at all you click here, you will get one small window open. So this is what actually the project properties window. It is CRS, coordinate reference system. So here you have both geographical coordinate reference system and you also have the projected coordinate reference system, CRS. Okay, so what you here is that you will find thousands of such projections which are being different parts of the world, because each part of the world is having a specific location with reference to the latitude, even with reference to the longitude. Any one single projection is not going to be suitable, and moreover, so far nobody has developed to be called as a standard projection which can actually suit the requirements of all the countries in all possible geometric properties to be regained. So there is no such a standard projection, and that is why what happened, different countries are adopting different projections. But for the global level, whatever data weaving, data editing, data analysis, data interpretation, there are some of the projections. So there are UTM projections, universal transverse Mercator projection, and there are pseudo Mercator projection. There are different sort of projections which are available. When you take them, so you can actually fit the world, and thereby you can change that world map into so many things, and you will come to know whether they are actually give you any scope for measurements of distance, direction, shape, size, things of that kind, or is there any scope to do something with extracting the data, generation of data and all that. For that reason, so to select, if at all you want to select at the very beginning, so you are supposed to select different, since you are all there in India, and I don't know whether anybody is there from other parts of the world. And I hope that most of you are from India. And for that reason, this particular WGS 84 EPST 4326, here if I click, hope you can see that it has turned into blue. This is what one of the geographic coordinate reference system. So here, if at all you keep as a default, your measurements are not possible. For that reason, you have to transform this projection into WGS84 UTM zone, depending on in which part of India you are there, like 42 north or 43 north, 44 north and all that. So right now I am going to use some parts of data that is from Goa. Okay. So if I take that one, now when you have seen this one, it is completely covered in this lower map. Can you see here? There is one pink color world map at the base here. And if you see that one, it gives you the information about the world as a whole covered with pink color. And only when I click that WGS84 EPSG 4326, the whole area is covered. But when I click this WGS84 UTM zone 43 north on the top, then what happened? You can see that only one small pink line is come vertically downward. Vertically downward, one line is come. So what this line shows is basically it shows the geographical zone, which is usually called as UTM zone. It is usually called as UTM zone. So that means this UTM zone, the whole world, that longitudes 360 degree along that circumference of the equator of the earth is divided into 60 equal parts, each of 6 degree. And starting from that 180 degree, so towards the east they have come and divided the world into 60 equal parts. And each of that actual range of that longitudes from 0 to 6 has been marked as 1, 6 to 12 has been marked as 2, 12 to 18 has been marked as 3. So like that it has continued. And by the time when the India came, by that time it is the UTM zone 42 in parts of Gujarat. Right now what you can see that I have actually enlarged here. You can see that Gujarat part is not seen within this particular belt. So if I go for UTM zone, what is that? The 42 north, it will be shifting on the Gujarat side. You can just have a look here. So it is now shifted on Gujarat side, what you can see. Okay. People, those who are from Gujarat, if they wanted to adopt the UTM zone projection, they have to go for 42 north. Okay. And since I am there in Goa and other parts of Rajasthan plus parts of Gujarat, then other parts which are going to be there in the next 6 degree longitudinal extent, they are supposed to have 43 north. So that is how I am going to click here 43 north. It will shift again back to this one. So the same way, if I go for 44 north, it will further shift to the east. We can see that it will further shift to the east. And if I go for that 45 north, it will further shift to this one. It covers the parts of Bihar, West Bengal, parts of Orissa, even Nepal, then Sikkim and all those. And when I go for 46 north, that is WGS84 UTM zone 46 north. So when I take, it will further go to the east. Okay, it will further go to the east, which covers the parts of that Assam, then Arunachal Pradesh, then Nagaland, Mizoram, Manipur, and all other eastern states, except little part of Arunachal Pradesh. So for that, if at all anybody is working in that area, he is expected to take this particular, that is UTM zone, WGS84 UTM zone 47 north. I hope each one of you got this one, because the whole world is being divided into 60 UTM zones, and India comes completely starting from Gujarat down up to the Arunachal Pradesh in about 6 different UTM zones, starting from 42, then 43, 44, 45, 46, and 47. 7 zones are there. So in that 7 zones, the whole India's that longitudinal extent is covered. Depending on which part of India right now you are, you have to note down that WGS84 UTM zone 47 north will be useful if at all you are going for extracting the data and for any kind of measurements with the help of your vector data. That is what the basic objective. So that is what actually expected here. And since my area which I am going to give you is from 43 north, I will admit it and I will say apply and okay. Okay. Now the next one after the properties is over, snapping options. So this snapping option comes, which is going to be spoken by some other people, and the snapping option comes only when you are going to go for digitizing. So that digitizing is going to be one of the important parts for preparation of your vector map. Okay. So for preparation of vector map, you have to go for that digitizing. So that when you are going for digitizing, this snapping option will help you to save lot of your time as well as your strain unnecessarily. Okay. So what you are of course supposed to do here is that you have to go for that snapping option, which will help you to either connect to the line vector or connect to the pixel or connect to various things which are going to be there. I will show you after some time one by one. So then import and export is going to give export map to image, export map to PDF, export project to the drawing exchange file. So import layers from, so various other options are here. And this export map to image and all, these options are going to work only when we convert all our that map after completion. We will put all the ornaments.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Your screen is visible. Hello.
Sir, is it visible?
Yes, yes, it's
The
visible.
screen. Okay, okay, sir. Yeah. Okay. So here I was here at the new print layout, which is going to be there after some time. I will take you directly back to that one. As a part of that printing, basically when you are going to compose all the things, it is going to be there, that part. Then editing is going to have very few features when you have not had any type of data on your listing. Then view is going to give you a lot of other options open for new map view, new 3D and pan map to selection, zoom in, zoom out, then measurements, then statistical summary. So all those things are going to be there, and decorations like scale bar, then north arrow, title, legend, and so many things are going to be there as a part of that one. Then here at the bottom we have panels. So here that one panel is going to open, wherever whichever you require, you are supposed to check in. So the moment you check in, it will be actually showing you the right mark. Okay, check mark or right mark, it is going to show. That is what whichever you want, that you can select from here. Then just below that, there are toolbars, which you can actually see that whichever you are interested in. These kind of toolbars also get activated the moment you go for one more menu bar is there, that is called plugin. So that plugin, when you are going to activate, then it is going to be added here in the toolbars. So after this one, I will take you to the layer. And in this layer, you have data source manager, which is also having a shortcut on the toolbar. Then create layer, you are going to create a new geo package layer or new shape file layer or new specialized layer or whatever other things are going to be. Then if you have already created, then you can go for add layer. In this add vector layer, add raster layer, and add mesh layer, and varieties of layers that you have prepared, taking into consideration the one which you have said in your PC, or even if you are wanted to take it from the online and all. So there is scope for you to get those things here, add it. Then there are going to be many other options here. Then to remove, once if you add, you can also remove that layer. It is possible here. Then settings that I will not go right now. Then plugins are there. So whenever you wanted to introduce any that either digitizing or various other activities that you are going to do, you are going to actually get the huge box of what we can say the plugins. These are additional that plugins which will help you. Here what you can see that one I have activated, which is going to give you digitizing tools. So when you click there, it is going to come here with its details, whether it is working or not working, and you will come to know. So like that, there are going to be many such type of that for only distance measurement or area measurement, or maybe only for freehand georeferencing or just georeferencing. There are going to be so many things, of course, depending on what is your objective. You can activate most of these or almost all of these depending on your objective. And here, there are so many things which I have also actually gone for that meta search catalog client. And here you can also see there are various things that you have to go for. Multi-ring buffer I have activated. Multi-ring distance buffer I have activated. So you can take so many things. These are what will be supporting sub softwares for going ahead with your QGIS activities. So NN join is there, that is nearest neighbor analysis. For that purpose, I have used it. So then one-click raster stacking is there. There are actually most latest and well-developed that plugins are there. You are supposed to go ahead with depending on your objective. So similarly, there are vector. When we say the vector, whichever we actually first collect the raster on our canvas, and from the raster, we are going to go for digitizing. And once if that digitizing is done in a number of different layers, we are going to store them. All those digitized ones and which are editable, and moreover, you can modify a lot of other things and analysis, everything. So many things are going to be possible there. And for that purpose, and for geoprocessing and for geometry, here we have different sort of things. Geoprocessing tools like buffer, cliff, and all these will come in the advanced section. Then geometry tools are going to be there for centroid, collect geometric, density by count, and so many other things, which are going to be by that depending on your what is going to be the map and all that. So analysis tools are also there. Okay, all those things you have to take care of. Then research tools are there to carry out different sort of that data generation, data creation, data analysis, data presentation, and so many things. Then even data management tools are also there here, which will help us. And one more is there, that is Quick OSM. That Quick OSM will help you to open what we can say the OpenStreetMap layer, OpenStreetMap layer. I will come down to that one little later. Then raster is having one most important thing which we require. Raster calculators are there. Then georeferencer, which is one most important. Before we proceed with any vector data and all, we are supposed to go ahead with. Then analysis are there basically for image analysis and all different sort of things. Then projections are there. So a typical projection can be assigned depending on the area which you are going to take. Then miscellaneous other things are also there. Extraction, clip raster by extent or clip raster by mask layer. So how and how much area you require, that much you can click. Then conversions are there from RGB to that this one vector to that raster. There are so many other things are there which we don't require right now. Then there is going to be one web. So this web is going to help you to get different sort of information. Basically, the open layer, if you activate from the plugins menu, then you are going to get all these kind of menus here. So here, OpenStreetMap. So this is going to be one way where we can get the OpenStreetMap on our canvas, or directly we can go to the vector where there is going to be Quick OSM map. So by that one, you can actually activate. I will just show you that one. Then processing tool is going to be there. Toolbox. When I click here, you can see there on the right side, processing toolbox has come. This is going to be for advanced working and all that. We require this kind of thing. Right now, I will actually uncheck it. Okay. Then processing and then help. These are actually going to be the menu bars. And under each of the menu bar, we have number of functions. And those functions which are going to perform, those are there also in the form of toolbars, actually, with number of sub tools found on the screen here. So, and the browser, as I told you, which is actually take you, or you can navigate to the source of data, whether on PC or online and all that. Then layer order when comes, when you are going to load the things on the actual screen and all. So these are some of the basic things that you are expected to know as a toolbars, map canvas, status bar, then side toolbar, as well as locator bars and the sub menus of each of the menu bars. Now we will go ahead with the browser panel. In that browser, you can see here. So favorites, you can have some of the sites or some of the folders as favorites, and you can store them in that. And special bookmarks, home, you can have. Then from your C drive or D drive, or if you have stored the things in the geo package, you can go for geo package here. And on the extreme left, you please see. Then Specialized, if you have stored, then you can then PostGIS if you have stored. Then if you are going to go for MS SQL, then you can store. So different source, and here the web map services are available. From there, if you want to take, you can get. And there is also scope for you to get a lot of other information, basic information, and whatever the data that you would like to take. So they are available in this. Okay. So that is what we have to actually go ahead with. Okay, now data set. First of all, I will load one data set. So that is, for that reason, I have to go to the menu bar, wherein there is something called a layer as one of the menus. In that layer, I will go. Then I will go to, because I am going to add the layer, because already I have some data with me. If you do not have the data, say for example, raster data, if you want to add to your QGIS, you can take the digital photo of that one, or you can also go for what we can say the scanning. That scanned map can be directly brought on this one. But however, either scanned map or this of even with your mobile, if you are taking very neatly and correctly, it can be brought here, but you cannot edit, you cannot do anything extra. But that can be used as what we can say as a base map for generation of varieties of things, varieties of maps, depending on the details available there on the raster map. If I am going to have that add layer, so the layer, then go to add layer, then I will take the add raster layer because I want to add some raster image here. So when I am going to click there, add raster layer, one data source window will be open. That is data source manager is going to open. And here, since I have already taken raster there, add raster, raster is selected on the extreme left side panel. You can see there is browser, there is vector, there is raster, mesh, delimited text, geo package, and there are so many other sources. So which you were actually seeing there in that layer panel. So all those are also available here. So from here also directly you can access them. But right now I am going to take the raster from my file wherever I have stored. And for that, what you are supposed to do is that, and along this raster database is there here, raster database where I have actually moving my cursor, you can see. So from here, you can go to the extreme right end. There are 3 dots with one small rectangle, which is written as browse, which is written there as browse. You go for that browse and click there. This will take you to the folder where you have stored the data, or wherever you have stored the data of your, that is data source. Now, I would like to take you back to the one which I have saved today, that is SPCC 2021 workshop. This is Srimati Parvati Bai Chogle College. In that name, I have stored some of the data. Okay. If I want to go for any of the data, right now I will take one of these Goa map image. I will take. This is raster image, and I will click here open. So you have to click on that map or image, which is JPEG map, which is JPEG map, what you can see here, JPEG, and that we have to click and then go to open. So when I click here open, it doesn't ordinarily open. Then you are supposed to go ahead here with, what is that called? In the data source manager, there is going to be add. So you have to click here. Once if you click, it will be added there in the layer panel. I hope each one of you can see here on the layer panel on the extreme left. Now Goa map image is come. Okay, Goa map image is come. I will also take one more. So that one more is also, I can again go there and I can take one more map. So that is here. I will take one more Goa map image GeoRef I have written. I will take that one also and I will add here. I will show the what is the difference it makes. Then I will also add one vector layer. And for that vector layer, on the just above the raster, there is one vector. So I will click that one. Okay, I will click that one and then again go to this browser button here on the extreme right, and I will click. Then I will go to here, some of the maps which I have stored here. Some of the maps which I have stored here. Please remember, whenever you are taking the maps, it has to be what? It has to be save file. SHP, what you can see here, SHP file. So always, anytime you are going to create a map, whenever you are going to create a map or a vector map, it is going to be stored in 5 different file formats, like project file, then QuantumJS project file, then DBF file, drawing exchange file also, then SHP file and SHX file. So whenever you are supposed to load on the canvas, you have to select only SHP file. That is the only one which is going to load. And I will take this one here, that is village map of Goa. Okay, I will just select this one and I will add it here. Okay, and I will add it here. So one more map is come on my side. Then similarly, I can go for one more thing of Goa state map. Goa state outline map. I will go and I will go here and I will take Goa state outline map. I will take this one. And again, the procedure is same for adding. I have added now 4 different layers. Okay, 2 raster layers I have added and 2 vector layers I have added. Now, right now, what you have on your screen, I hope you can see the Goa map right now, which is in a raster format. You cannot do anything with this one, either editing or changing or typing anything, or nothing is possible here to add on the canvas. So only one thing that you can do is trace this map, and the tracing is as good as your digitizing. What in the QGIS language we say it is a digitizing, and in an ordinary in the lab exercises and all, whenever we use the tracing table, we just keep the hard map, and on the hard map we are going to keep the tracing paper and we trace it, or even blank sheet we can keep and trace it. So exactly how we do with the pencil, like that we are going to do it digitally and with the help of mouse. That is what going to be. And in the next some of those experts will share it with you how to go ahead with the digitizing and all other things. So now I will not go for that one, but if I want to, so for the time being I will actually this one I will reduce, and I will reduce here browser panel also. Okay, okay. So what you can have here on the extreme left under the layer panel, whatever 4 layers that I have added, all 4 layers are here. And on these layers, you can see that right mark or tick mark is actually given. That tick mark means they are checked in. Okay, they are checked in. That means you can see them. But you might wonder, I have 4 maps which are checked in, but nothing is seen here on the canvas board, because one of these image is not georeferenced. By just clicking in the same square, you can uncheck them. You can make them disappear from the canvas. Now, right now, what I have here, if I have to go here for, so what you can see here, when I am moving my cursor here on the map, so what you can see that on the taskbar, which I told you, coordinate is there, you see, on the taskbar here, in this particular area, taskbar, what I shown you. In that, you can see that there are 2 sets of number. Right now, it is 564 and -680. That shows the cursor's position as per the screen resolution of columns and rows. Okay, it shows you that one. But if the map is actually georeferenced, then the same cursor point shows you the position of that cursor with reference to latitude and longitude. So right now, this is actually non-georeferenced map. Even you can digitize here, but none of those maps can be directly used in order to go ahead with getting the latitudes, longitudes, and some other measurements and all. So those measurements and all may not be possible without actually going for georeferencing, because georeferencing is making your hard map fit on the globe with latitudes and longitudes perfectly, if at all everything is correct. Okay, and that's how now I will uncheck this one, and one more I will activate, which is actually, now you can see that check in and check out, what you are going to do here. So this will help you to take you that whatever image you are interested in. Now I will check this one. Now already I have checked, but the map is not seen here. So under that circumstances, you have to go to zoom full. So when you go to zoom full, you can see that the map is actually shown here. The map is shown here, and the coordinate system is different. So that's how, what you can see that coordinate system here is showing that 22,84,856, and this side 17,69,114. What it shows that, it shows with reference to the map, which is georeference. It is actually giving that how the actual Goa on the map of India, it actually stands with reference to that. And if I want to get the actual latitude and longitude, now I can go to the project and properties button. I can click. I can go to the project and properties button. So when I'm going to go here, project and properties button, which is going to open one window. So here I am going to convert that one into what? Actually, the WGS 84, and say apply, and I will come here. Okay. When you see that, now I have converted this one again into what? Again into a map which shows you 73° east of Greenwich and 14° north of equator here. So wherever my cursor goes, that 74 point something and 15.4 point something that you can see here, that means right now what you have the map, which is actually that default map of WGS 84 EP SG4326. That is what actually happened here. Now, if I want to put any of these maps, so let us see whether the map is come. Now I have checked here Taluka map of Goa. What you can see, the Taluka map of Goa, I will change the color of this one. For changing the color, I can actually double click on that and I can go here. There is scope for me to take that one. I will make it little reddish. I will make it little reddish and I will do it and I will say apply and this one. Now, can you see this one? I think this is very clearly visible for each one of you. Now, earlier when I tried, again, I will try with this one. You can see here and I will take this one down. It doesn't come. So when I am going to do this one, so you can see that it doesn't come into the picture. And our vector map has gone somewhere. We don't get that where it has gone because this is not georeferenced map. So that means if you want any of the vector maps to be prepared and get them proper measurements and all, there is a need to have the georeference map. So when I go for this georeferenced map, you can see that again georeferenced map with the vector map, that is Goa outline is available. Okay, so this is the way that vector data and raster data can be actually arranged. And here there is one more thing that I am supposed to give you, reordering the layers. Now let us suppose I want to get one of these. So if I go for this one, you can see that, so this is not to be seen on this map. Which one? The second map is not to be seen on the map. So can you tell me what is the reason for that? Because this projection, this map, what right now I have brought here, this map is actually with a different projection. This map is with a different projection. That is how it doesn't fit on the another map. Means as the projections change, you are not getting the maps overlaid. If you want to overlay the maps and the layers, always there is a need to have common projection. If the projection for each of the layer is different, you will never get them on one above the other. If at all you want to get them one above the other, you have to change the projection. And that projection, as I told you, go to the project, then properties, select the type of projection that you are interested to have all the layers overlaid. Okay, for overlay analysis, so there is a compulsion that the projection of all the layers should be one and the same. Okay, so that is what one important thing that is to be taken here. And after this one, now what I want is, okay, now reordering the layers. Now if I want this one, actually the taluka map to come down, then the village map to go up. So what I can do here, you can see that there is something called layer order here. Okay, layer order here. So this layer order you can change. If I change right now, the taluka map of Goa is on the top. What I can do, I can click here, then press hold the left button of your mouse and drag it down. Drag it down. So when you drag it down, you can see that the layer now, and the top layer is in the layer order, village map of Goa. Then followed by Goa map image. What is there in the layer? Same way it is seen in the layer order. Okay. Now it shows that what is the order of the layers here. But our map has gone down. Where our map, taluka map of Goa has gone? It has gone just below the Goa map image georeference. So if you want to see that whether it has gone somewhere or it is there, then I will just uncheck here. You will get that map. Can you see that? The map is just below the Goa map image georef. So if I want to bring it back, what I have to do, I will pull this Goa map image georeference. I will click on that, press hold the left button and pull it down. So when you are going to get, it will come on that. Means it shows that the topmost is on the first, then followed by the second layer, third layer, and the fourth layer. So as the layer goes lower and lower on the layer panel, it goes one below the other, and the last one will be at the last layer. That is going to be one of the important things. And after this, we will go to the next one. You are supposed to click and drag on the layer list. Then you can pull them up or down, whatever it is. Then adding or removing. Now, what happened is that I wanted to remove the non-georeferenced layer here. Non-georeferenced layer here. Now, I will take this one, Goa. Now, I have told you how to add. For adding, what you have done? You have gone to the layer. You have gone to the layer, add raster layer, and add vector layer you have done. And you have got the both that raster and vector layer added. Now I want to remove this one. So if I want to remove, you can also go to that. We can also go to here, view button. Okay, you can add or remove that. Okay, add or remove that one. You can go and you will do that one. If you don't want that one, you can just select that one and right click on that, and you are going to get one as a remove layer. Okay, so add or remove. So you can click here to remove. So it will ask you whether you want to remove the legend, remove one legend entries, because this is going to be appeared there in the legend. So you say okay, and that will disappear. So that map without georeferencing is removed from this layer list. So anyone, if you want to remove, you have to right click, select it, right click, and go for removing. That is what now you got the idea of how to add the layer or data and how to remove them. And even if you want to know where that particular layer is, if you want to know that one, you can take your cursor point on that, and it will show you in the small pop-up window that village map. So what is the source? C drive, user, desktop, SPCC, where your that particular layer is there, all that information is going to come there. So that information you can see and go back and collect if you want one more layer like that. So right now what you have done is something of this kind, where that I have taken the geo-referenced image, raster image, and I have also converted that one into vector layer. And that vector layer and the raster layer, they can superimpose only because they are with the same projection. If they are with a different projection, they are not going to get overlapped one another, or overlay is not simply possible. Okay, that's one thing. Now, if at all I wanted to go far, now map navigation tools, you can actually use the hand tool here, that is called pan map. Okay, you can use the pan, and the hand will come, and you can pull that one. You can pull it on the left, right, up, down, or whatever the direction you want. And if you want to go for zoom in, if you are using the mouse, you can roll the scroll forward to enlarge it, or backward to reduce it. And if you are reduced this one and you don't know how to get it back to the zoom full, then again there is one layer. You can go here as a toolbar. In the toolbar there is one which you can see here. I will take this one down. Okay, here there is one actually zoom full. So when you are going to click this one, it will actually go to that one. And this is, I will uncheck it, and I will take this one, I will say zoom full. So now what you can see, if there are 2 or 3 different layers with different projections, because of one of the projections, rest every thing is also getting disturbed. So you can uncheck that map which is with a different projection. Okay, so now you got that the idea of zoom in. And if I want to go far, zoom the last, whatever I have actually zoomed last, then if I go for that one, I will click here zoom last, or you can go to the view and you have here zoom in, zoom out, zoom to layer, zoom full, then zoom last, zoom next. So all that depending on what you are going to. If I say take this one zoom last, it will go to somewhere where I have not actually zoomed earlier. Then again I will click back, it will come. So here there are toolbars to go for pan the image, pull it to the north, south, east, west, and wherever you want to take it in the screen, you can take it. Zoom in is there, zoom out is there, zoom last, zoom next, zoom full extent. So there are icons also here depending on what you have done. So they are going to give you the chance to go ahead, and you can refresh them. Okay, the refresher button is also there, you can refresh them. So now we have reached to the one which is actually going to be zoom in, zoom out, zoom last. Okay, then zoom next, zoom full extent, and all that. Now we will see that on the taskbar there is something called scale on the taskbar is there. So what you can see here right now, the scale, right now the scale is 1:9,10,901. But now I want this one to be only, say for example, 9 lakh. Okay, 9 lakh, and I will press the enter. You can see that slight difference is there. But instead of, if I wanted to go for 7 lakh, if I change that one, it will go to this one. So if I go for further, say for example, 5 lakh, 1:5 lakh, then it will become still bigger. So here also you can change, or there are some predetermined scales are there, which you can see on the arrow. One triangle is there. Right now I am with that one. If I go for 1:10,000, you can see that the map has gone so big you cannot make out. Okay. So if I go for that 1:10 lakh, 1:10 lakh, this is the one which you can see. You can go for the predetermined scale to keep your map of a certain size or certain scale, or you can also go for the scale of your choice. So for that, there is a scope here for the scale bar, and the coordinate shows you the latitude and longitude. Then magnifier. Right now, whatever the scale with reference to that, the map is of 100%. But if I want to make it only 80%, that you can actually further change that one. 1 minute. Further change that one. So if I do that one, it will become little smaller. So if I wanted to go for, if I want to go for 50%, if I go here, then you can see that it will become smaller. That means it is a 50% of the scanned image what I have in my store or in the data source. It is a 50% of that size it shows. But if at all I want again back 100%, then I can go here and make it 100 and click here. So it will back to the original scanned image, whatever 100% supposed to be. So like that rotation you can think of, you can change the rotation here by changing the degrees. So if I want to change that map, you can see here, you can rotate the map the way you want, or you can also rotate this one this way, or whichever the way you want, you can rotate that one. So I will keep it to the 0. Okay. So again, I will take it here. Okay. Now, apart from that, render is there. Then what I told you, that projection changing in the project and properties, that can also be done from this one, EPSG4326 at this one. In the extreme screen, that southeast corner of the screen, you can see that there is something EPSG436. If you press there, again the project property box opens. There also you can change the map and you can get the measurements. Okay, so this is what one thing. Then after this one, symbology. Now I will take you to the map symbology and I will uncheck the georeferenced map. Okay, I will uncheck the georeferenced map. I will take it to this one. And now I wanted to see that what all symbologies, because right now it is with single color. Right now it is with single color and I am not getting any of the information here. So I am not getting any of the information. So what I want here is that I have already stored some information related to this one. And based on the geographical area or based on the data attached to each of these administrative units, you can go ahead with giving different colors. So now I will go ahead with the symbology. That means when you come here for the symbology, you can also go to the 1 minute. So here you can see the Taluka map of Goa, where you can go for right click, where you have to go for right click, then go to the properties, So right click on that, go to the properties and you click the properties button and one small window opens here. That is the layer properties window. Taluka map of Goa symbology. Right now I have actually clicked the symbology here. What you could see that this color can be changed. As I showed you a while ago, the color of the map, single color of the map can be changed. Now I can go here, click that one. You can actually see this all possible circle with the different colors. Then I wanted to take it as a green. Okay, I wanted to take it as a green. You can just see that as you move this one, the color changes here of the current. Okay, in this just below that one, it changes. So what you can see here, you say okay, and it will change here. And if you say apply, and it will get okay. You can change the color of the single color of the map. Now what I want is, again, you wanted to go for the properties window. So as I told you, right click, go to properties and click. Instead, you can also go for double click on that map. Double click on that map. What you are going to do, even if you double click on that layer, you will get the layer property windows open. Now I wanted to change the color. I wanted to change the color of this one. So when I am going for this symbology, and here what you see that on the top, there are 3 small green lines here, and single symbol is there. Single symbol is there. So on the extreme right here, on the extreme right here, I am going to click here, and you can see that there is single symbol, categorized, graduated, rule-based, inverted polygons, and 2.5G of that. So there are different ways that we can show the color. But since it is the initial information that I am supposed to pass it on to you, I will take only 2 categories. First, I will take the categorized. So when you go for categorized, it is going to ask you which one you wanted to categorize, value for each of the category. What is that? If I take the click here, the value second layer, which is actually opened here, what you can see, and on that value button, if I click here, what is that you are going to get? All the details attached to that map. What details are there attached to that map? You can see that ID is there, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever that IDs are there, that is there. Then the taluka, the name of the talukas are there. Then total population in number, total male in number, total female in number, then density of population per square kilometer, whatever that we have worked out, all those things are there. Now I will take only taluka. Okay, I will take only taluka. And I wanted to see that it will actually get different color. So before, now I have only selected the taluka on the value. And so far nothing is seen here. The symbol is here. Okay, the symbol is here. Then color ramp is here. Then if you want to go for what colors you want, you can actually go here for color ramps. Random colors are there right now. Random colors are strict. And you can select any one of these color ramps. So I will select this particular color ramp of the green, or you can also go for number of color ramps here. So when you go for all color ramps, you can go to number of such things. Now I will take, let us suppose this oranges I will take. So now the color ramp can be seen here, which is showing you what? It shows that from the darkest to the lightest. Here it is supposed to be used for what? The data which is for the smallest data, or minimum data up to the maximum data, where the intensity variation is there and all that. That can be used, or this can also be used only for this one. But even by doing this one, I am not going to get any color. But I wanted to see that all the talukas, whichever, whatever they are there are 12 talukas in Goa, but I have not yet updated that map. I have actually written only 11 talukas. For that I am going to use here. And for that, you have to come back to the lower portion. Here there is something called classify. So when you are going to go for classify, it is going to give you that number of what each of the taluka is going to get. Okay, the different colors. So these colors are going to be there, and one of those is an additional color. You can select that. If you don't want that one, you can select it. And there is one red minus here, you see, next to classify, one green plus is there, and adjacent to that there is one red delete button. So that is minus. If you click there, it will go. So now you have selected the colors for this one, and I will say apply, and you can see that the whole map has changed into this kind of map. The whole map has changed into this kind of map. So what you could see that I have given the random color. That color doesn't reflect any specific data. What it shows, only some random color. Okay, I have gone for, and that doesn't represent anything, because you can see that one taluka in the extreme east is also of the same color, and west is also of the same color. And like that, if at all you go by, so it shows something. But if I want to go for further symbology of this one to represent certain data, that means with the layer, when you are generating the layer, that layer automatically doesn't take the data along with it. So for that, you are supposed to feed the data, you are supposed to attach the data. So that data attachment, what is going to be there? So if you have already digitized the map like this, and if you have converted the projection from, say, for example, WGS84 to WGS84 UTM zone 43 north in my case, okay, you are converted. That means that particular digitized map is useful to get the measurements or data generation. You can generate the area data. You can generate the area because you are not actually worked out how much is the area, but what you have done, if your map is, especially the raster map is correct and proper in scale, it is going to give all that necessary information. If you are digitized very accurately, that time it is going to be one of the important consideration for getting the proper measurements. If your digitizing is going here and there, little bit that side, a little bit this side, or some pixels that side, this side, it is going to be very difficult to get the correct area. So whatever right now I have is the digitized. Of course, it is not more accurately done, but it is digitized, and which is also converted in terms of the projection from WGS84 to WGS84 UTM zone 43 north, and that is why I am going to get. So I will click here to view the layer attributes. Now I want to know that what all the attributes attached to this particular layer of Taluka map of Goa. For that I will go here. For that I will go here, click this one, that layer, and you can right click, and when the pop-up box is going to open, you can see there open attribute table. So here, anything that you have stored while actually digitizing, everything is going to be appeared there in this attribute table. So you are going to give the ID mark for each one of them as Taluka number 1, Taluka number 2, Taluka number 3. So like that, whatever number of talukas, you are giving the ID mark from 1 to 10, 15, 20, depending on number of talukas, number of administrative units. And you are also going to give the name to each one of them, because each taluka is a different in its name. So that is also going to be given. So that name is also going to be appeared. And if you are going to attach while preparation itself, the total population, or total female population, total male population, or density of population, whatever you wanted to add, that time also you can add, or later on you can enter that one. So there is a scope for all that. So now I will click on this open attribute table, and you can see that one table is appeared here. One table is appeared here. So in this table, what all I have is that ID of all the talukas. That is, now you might see that why I have started with 6, 7 and all that. To put them in order, you click on the ID ones, so the things will be arranged in order. So how this is going to get ordered, the rest all data related to each one of them is also getting ordered again. Okay, so now I have 1 to 11 here as the ID, and each one of that taluka name is also written under the taluka. The ID number 1 actually represents the Pedne taluka, 2 represents the Bardesh taluka, like that. It will go 11 represents the Kanpur taluka. So Pedne taluka's total population, Pedne taluka's total male population, Pedne taluka's total female population, like that I have taken. I have also worked out the density of that each of the population in that each of the taluka, and what that shows that. So here some data is attached to that, and you can also generate the data. If you want to work out the sex ratio, you know the formula how it is to be, because the sex ratio talks about what? Number of females per 1,000 male. So how you are supposed to work out that formula, you have to apply in the advanced that show all features. Then advanced filter is going to be there. There you are supposed to work out. Now, right now I will take this data and I will reduce this one. I will take for the total population I wanted to take. So I wanted to go for again to add the or convert this population map, this taluka map into a showing the population map of Goa. So for that, what I will do, I will go for again symbology. Then I will change that one from categorized to the graduated, because it shows when you are going to go for graduated, it shows that from lesser to the greater, or from lower to the higher, or from minimum to the maximum, or from low intensity to the high intensity. So it is going to give you the information in all these ways. And when you have taken the graduated, then value you have to select. Under that value, I am going to get the total population. As per the total population, what it shows. So again, that I will keep right now the same symbol, that is color ramp. Then I will go here. Now my map can be classified into 5 groups. Earlier this classes 5 was not there because I have taken the categorized. I have taken the random. Now, since I wanted to have the gradient or graduated, then I will have to classify them into number of class intervals. Now I am going to have the 5 different classes, and it is going to take into consideration what kind of class you want, that mode. So equal count is here, 1, then equal interval is there, logarithmic is there, natural break is there, and all that. You can try each one of them. For the time, I will take the equal count. Then I will go for what? Classify. Just you click the classify, automatically the things will come here. Automatically the things will come here. So when this is come, now the darker color is attached to the more population, lighter color is attached to the less population. Okay, so that is how. And if you want this one to revert, then you can go here on the legend format is there at the extreme left, extreme right, there is something called trim. You uncheck that one, it will give you the one type of information, and if you keep it, it will give you, and there is a chance for you to actually convert that one from higher to lower and all that. So I will come back that one little later. And what you can see here now, the symbol is appeared, and that I will take into consideration, apply and say okay. Now the thing what you are going to get map here is that where there is a large population, they are with a dark color, followed by the lesser and lesser population. But now you cannot see the legend here. If you want to see the legend in the layer panel, there is one small arrow mark on the extreme left of the that layer. So click on that, you will get all these, whatever that layers are there. Here further you can edit them, but I think there won't be much time left for that one, but I will directly go for one more thing here. So now you have gone for what? That taluka map with population. Like that, you can select whatever the data that you have, depending on that, you can go for that. Now, if I want to have the labels for each of the talukas, or if I want to have that label for the population, now I will click on the left side. There is something called, just below the symbology, there is label. And here on the top, there is no labels is there. I will click on that and I will get single label. Okay, so I will take only one of these single labels. So when I take the single labels, you can see that some more information comes here. So it is going to ask what value you wanted to give the number. Okay, that label. So for that, I will select here names of the talukas first. I will select the names of the talukas. So when I select the names of the talukas are going to appear. And here you can see apply and say okay. Now what happened? You could get the names of those talukas which you have saved at the time of digitizing. Please remember, at the time of digitizing, you have saved them. And as per that saving, whatever you have done. And if you want to change the color of these letters, or even the size of the font, or even the font type, if you want to change, you can do that one. Again, back, double click here, that property window opens, in that label is there. And here in the text, you can change the text, and you can click that one, and you can go here and select the type of that. There are all possible type of what we can say, the fonts, that you can select the font of your choice, then you can go for that. Okay, then formatting, and regular you want, or you want the bold. So you can select here, so that now whatever you are going to see here, that is going to be written there. So then size, whether you want the size of 10 font or you want a little bigger, I will increase here up to 11 or 12. I will take 13 or 14 now for the time being. Then what points and all their color, what you want. So you can select that one. So you can apply, and you can see now what happened. The map is ready. Then the names of the talukas are there, but they look disproportionate to the size of map. But the cartography and the skill of cartography demands what? You have to keep the names of the talukas almost in proportion to the map space available. So that is what sense of proportion comes there. So for that reason, if I'm not happy with this one, again, I can go and reduce the font size. Reduce the font size. Instead of 14, I will go to the 12, and I will check whether it will suit better or not. So you can see that still it is not good enough. I will again go here, double click, and go for that one, and I will again keep them to the 10 only. So 10 looks appropriate, and I will keep them because they are all well within this one. And where you wanted to position them, whether you want them around that center of each of the talukas, or on the margin, or on the lower, that is also there in here, that property window only. You can property window, you can set, and there is a placement. When you go for the placement, centroid is there, visible polygon is there, or whole polygon is there. And if I take that one whole polygon and see that what is it going to show here, now you can see that it is somewhere in the polygon itself. So you can change the position of the letters, whether it should be around the center of the or centroid of the polygon. So now this is one thing. Now instead of these names of the talukas, if I want to show the only what is that here, only the total population and its number I want. So I will select the total population, and I will apply, and it will be there. And all that what you can see here is the total size of population. So you can go for preparation of that one. Now I will take only one of these, and I will shift to the next one. So this is the way the symbology and labeling is going to be done. And right now I will take the names of the talukas, and I will put them back here, and I will take you to, there are so many things that I thought I would cover. Then adding symbol, then ordering symbol. This is going to come when we go to the next one. Then geometry generation, symbology, and all that, they are also something to do with other section. Then creating a custom SVG file. If you want to prepare different sort of thing, that is also possible there. But right now we are running out of time. I will take you to the viewing of layer attributes. Again, I will take you to this one. So when we are going to go for that layer attributes, what you can see that layer is there. If you want to add in this layer attribute, here there is one pencil mark. You see toggle editing mode on the extreme left. There is one toggle editing mode. You can go and click there. So when you are going to click that one, now the table is in editing mode. If I want to add yet another column, here you can see that new field. One more field is there, new field. You can see that different sort of things are here. And I will go for new field. And that new field name, I will write, say, for example, literate. Okay, literate I will write. Okay, then some comment if you want, you can put, otherwise something else you can put. Then the literate, you are going to give it in a number. It is not a text, it is in the number. And the length of that table column width, you can decide whether you want 10 pixel or 10 millimeter and all that you are going to fix. Right now it is default is 10th, and I will keep it as it is. Okay, then when I click here, okay, now literate is added here. If I want to add the data here, now I can simply, I will type something up. It is not a accurate data. I am simply going to type something here. So now I will take this one and double click. Now the cursor is come. I will put something like this. Okay, something like this. Now I have added something. Then I will go for another one and I will add something like this. Then I will go for. So this is the way, if you have the correct data, you can keep adding that one. So this is how the addition of the column in that is going to be possible. If you want to delete any of these, let us suppose you don't want the literate right now, then again what you can do is you can go to another one, delete field. Next to that new field, there is one delete field. So you can go to that delete field and click there, one small window opens. There you go to that one, literate. So this you can select and say okay. So that column will go ahead. So now you got the idea of how to add the column and how to delete the column that you don't want, and how you have to add the data that is attached to a particular taluk or administrative unit or whatever other things. So that is what you have done. And if you have added anything or deleted something, please remember there is one save edits, one button is there, and one tool is there, or you can say icon is there. You click on that. If you are not going to click, whatever you have added will not be saved. For that reason, you click that save edits. Then you go for again toggle edit mode. Click once again on that. Then the table will turn into non-editable table. So now it is not possible to be edited. Okay, so that is what the attributes that we have viewed. Now, right now, I wanted to select only one or two talukas. Okay, one or two talukas. Right now, I wanted to select the, when you are taking the all India level, or the number of talukas are more and you don't know by name. And that time, if you wanted to see, you can actually open the attribute table and select them here. So I want, let us suppose Kankom, and I want say Sangye Taluka. Okay, I will hold the control and select that one. So now what happened? I have selected two talukas. When I have clicked here, those both the talukas are going to look yellow in the map, on the map canvas. Now can you see here? Two talukas I have taken. Those talukas, one Kankom and Sangye, I have selected. So they are looking yellow. So this can be done even on the toolbox here, or sorry, the toolbar, where there is going to be select features, select feature by polygon, select feature by freehand, select features by radius. So I will take the select feature. Then if I click on another one, any other taluka, like let us suppose Pedna, I will click. Now earlier selected one will go and Pedna will be selected now. Now you can see that the Pedna is selected. Now I want Sattari to be selected. So like that, I can select the one which I want, whichever, and that can be done. Or if I want more talukas to be selected, I can select like this, and these many talukas are selected. Okay, so like that, if you don't want any of these talukas being selected, then you can go here. It is there, deselect the feature. So you can click here, and all that features will be deselected. I hope you got the ideas, and labeling lines or labeling areas and all that. So directly I will shift to the map layout and design, maybe another 15 minutes. Okay, so I will shift to the map layout and design. What is it going to be? Basically, when as a geographer or any person who is preparing the map, there are going to be some basic components of each of the map. So those basic components are going to be what? The title of the map is going to be there, and theme of the map is going to be there, as well as the year for which, if at all the data related is going to be something specific year and all, that is going to be there. We are going to have the north arrow. We are going to have even the scale. We are going to have legend. We are going to have latitudes and longitudes. But in most of the time, and latitudes, longitudes may not be there, but we are going to have the north arrow, provided they are scientifically prepared. Otherwise, there are many maps being prepared that is being written down as not to the scale. That means most of the things which you are going to see, only they are going to give some information about where that is there, but not accurate location, but where it is, in which direction you have to go, which route you have to follow, that you can get the information. Like tourist maps of Goa, if you see, or tourist maps of whichever states you are belong to, if they are not to the scale, then you will get the information about the location, area, spots, and which routes you have to follow to reach there. So that sort of things are going to be there. So like that, so there is a need of some of the basic components to be taken. Now you cannot add the components here directly on this, because even though if you wanted to add, so they may not be that appropriate when you are going to save the map. So to make it more appropriate to save the map in the form of PDF or in the form of that image or JPEG or whatever it is, so you are going to do that one. And that is what called as yet another step. Here you have to again go to the project now. Now I will convert this one into a map. Okay, now I will convert this one into a map with some of the designs. Now I will go directly from the project, go to the project and go to the new print layout. This new print layout is going to give you what? The layout for this map in such a way that you can take the printout of it. So I will go for this one and I will give this one as Goa total population dot pop. I will give some shortcut here and I will take it. So now what happened? One more window opens here with the title Goa dot pop. On the extreme northwest corner of the screen, you can see Goa total population. It is actually written there. And now you can see one whiteboard here. So that whiteboard, if you want to make it big enough, so you can again take zoom full and it will become bigger. So when you want to add that map, which is there on the map canvas of QGIS, what we have to do? We have to go to the So you have to go to the add item here. In the menu bar, there is add item. Okay, you can go to that add item and come to the add picture or add map, add 3D map, add label, add legend, add scale bar, add north arrow. All possible ornaments for a proper scientifically prepared map are available here. So I will take the add map. So when I go to the add map here, so nothing comes directly, but only your cursor is converted into a square, into a plus mark. That plus mark you can hold, and pull the map in a way it is going to be there. So right now what you got is that inside that frame you got the map. Inside that frame you got the map. Now the map is not big enough. Now how to make that map to big enough? If I pull this one here, so it will remain there itself. If I pull that one here, and if I actually go for reducing this one, it will be reduced, but it will not make that one appropriate for the size of that frame that I have put. For that reason, what I have to do, I will go again to the here, because each time there is going to be otherwise directly you can come here. One minute. Edit. Okay. In the edit, in the menu bar, you go to the edit. In that edit, there is something called move content. So this move content you can take. Okay, move content. Now what happened earlier when I have moved the whole frame, map was also moving along with that without making any changes. Now what happened? I can move the map very easily. Now can you see that now map can be moved without the frame? The frame is actually, if I leave it here, the frame is there itself. If I leave it here, frame is there itself. Now what I want to make it bigger. So you can take the scroll bar and keep on just going ahead with that, scrolling it forward. When you scroll it forward, the map will become bigger. Then if you want that map to be bigger enough within the frame, then you hold the control and shift on your keyboard. Then you can go for that and you will be in a better position to make it appropriate to your size of the frame that you have prepared. Now I want this much of frame, and if I click outside, the frame will go now. If I click outside or if I take something else, that frame will go. So if I want to that frame to be actually marked there. Now, adjacent to when I have taken here, on the extreme right side, you can see that there is something called a layout, then item properties and guides. So item properties that you can see, under that item properties, there are going to be so many things. Main properties, layers are there, okay? Then extents are there. Then you can see the temporal range, grids, overviews, position and size, rotation, and frame. So what we have to do in that frame, arrow mark is there. You can actually check that arrow mark. And when you check that map arrow mark, then the map will, that frame will remain there. And if you want to increase the size of the frame, then you can go for that thickness is there. Under that, under the frame, there is color, there is thickness, as well as the pattern also, what sort of thing you require. Now I will increase the thickness of the frame. Now you can see that, is it seen as a dark, thick color? Okay. Now I don't want this much thick. What I will do, I will again go back and I will make it of this much thickness. I will keep this one as the map thickness. And then I will go for the background color. I want the background color to be given here. And I will click on that arrow mark here. So I will click on the arrow mark and I will click on that color at the extreme end. So then I am going to see here one of that. So I wanted to see that one color is given to this one. So I will say, okay, this color I will select. What is that? This color I will select. And what you can see that color looks very dark like. And the map is also seen proper. But when you take the printout, it might actually show. If I move this one, you can see that color of that one changes. Can you see? It will become darker.
Hello, sir. Sir, we cannot see the new
whatever the
print
color
window.
you want, you can retain it like this. Now, if this suits your color, then you can actually click on the side, it will go. Now, what I have added here, the background color. Okay. So right now the map is with the only outline map of talukas with the taluka names. Okay. And the background is given, but no title, no subtitle, and no theme. Okay, all those things are there. Now, in view of that one, right now, what I want is add the text. I want to add the text. Then go to add items and go to add label.
Hello, Badiga sir. Hello, Badiga sir.
When you go for the title, then I'm going to give you the title here, and I will take this one as a point here. Then you are not supposed to type in the box where you have actually typed. Then you are going to go ahead with 1 minute. I will just confirm. Hello, sir.
Sir, the map layout window is not seen.
Is not seen.
So you please see that what happens, when you go for the map layout, no, it opens a separate window, no. So
Yeah. Okay, I will again go for new share.
So that's what, no.
Okay. Yeah.
Participants.
I will do it.
The thing is that you are not able to get that.
Okay, sir. I will do it, sir. Yeah. Yes, I have to go. I hope, sir, now it is seen. Yeah, okay. I will go ahead with.
It is comes. Yeah. Okay, so
sir, I will take another 15-20 minutes.
Few things. Yes, sir, but 3 o'clock we have to start a new session, and then participants will not get a break for lunch.
Okay, only about 5 to 10 minutes. Just I will be keep on adding. I will just show them how it is going to look. Okay. Yeah. Okay, sir. So I'm extremely sorry you are all getting delayed for your food and all, but I will put this one. So now what you have to do is, so here, whatever you wanted to write, so all that you can go ahead in, okay. So what you have to do is, whatever you wanted to put the title, now right now I wanted to put the title of Goa. So I will type it here under the item properties. So I will say Goa state. So Goa state. So I will type it here, Goa state. Whatever you are going to type is going to be seen here in this one. Now I will take you to the fonts. So now I will take the font size. So you can select the same one. You can go for little 14, or I will take the 14. And if you want the bold, you can make it bold, and you are going to with this one. Now, if you want to put that within the box at the center, under the font itself, on the item properties, you have further windows, and you can select that central one, and you can click this one and put it here. Now, right now, the Goa state is done. Okay. Now, under this Goa state itself, if I want to put the population, total population, I will write. Okay, total population. Okay, I will write here total population, and 2011 I write. So all the things I will take at once only. I will take at once only. And now what I will do, I will make the box little bigger, and I will take this one and see now. So now what happened is that Goa state, total population. Goa state is the main title of the map, and total population is the theme of the data that I have presented here, and the data is for the year 2011. But when I want to go for that legend, so you can again go to the add item and go to the legend. So you can take the legend and drop one thing here, and all the things which are there on the map are going to be seen here. All the things which are going to be there on the map are going to be seen here. So what you have to do in order to edit that, because unwanted things are also there, wanted things are also there. So that's how what I want is, I don't want this village map of Goa. So what I have to do, auto update is there, that you uncheck. So the moment you uncheck, so here there are some of the things. Here there are some of the things like move item down, move item up, then here add layer, minus layer. Okay, that is delete or remove. So I don't want this village map. I will select that one and I remove that one. And I don't want the georef map of Goa also. And I will select it and remove that. Now I wanted to show that what this legend is showing, it is not showing the taluka map of Goa. I want to correct it. So for that, what I will do, I will select this one and I will go to edit selected item. One pencil mark is there at the bottom, you see. I will go for that one. And here it is going to give me what you wanted to write. Here the total population. It is going to show you the total population. Total population is seen here. And so that total population has appeared here. So this total population, if you want to make a little bigger, so you can go making it the fonts and all that. Okay. And this you can say legend properties. You can put this one. And if you want that legend to be a little bigger, okay, you can go for fonts again. And the title font you can take. And if you want that one to be a little bigger or smaller, depending on, or if you want to make it bold, then you get that one. So that's going to be then group font. If you want, then you can go here and I want to be this one bigger. So like that, if you go for subgroup font, then you can see here bold and convert it to this one. Now you see that, so title font, then group font, they are all there attached to this one. So now total population actually shows the subgroup font, and that is what actually. Okay, now this legend is ready. I hope each one of you are getting. Legend is ready, and I will keep it legend here. So now legend, and you can with a range, and is also scope for you to, there is also scope for you to reduce this number only into, say, for example, round off. So 44,000 you can make it the first one, then 64,000 you can make. All that only two digits can be put, and total population thousands you can write lot many things. So since we are running short of time, now I wanted to add the scale. Now what I will do, again, I will take an item and I go for, what is that, scale bar. The moment you take that one and clicks anyway, and it is going to give you the scale. So one page where you want this one to be. I will take this part here. Okay, now I want this to be added here. But what happened? The space is not enough. I will reduce these again into 2 only, and I will take it here and I will add. Okay, if I want, I will take it further down. Okay, and here is where the scale is located. Now the scale is added. Now I want to add north arrow. So I will go here and add the north arrow. So when I take that north arrow, so I can take here like this. Okay, so there are number of symbols. Okay, they are available on the item properties here that you can see here, the arrow mark. Now what happened? The basic components like title, subtitle, and all that, north arrow and scale, and the same also add the latitudes and longitudes for the map of your choice. So here I am going to end this particular session which was given, and I am extremely sorry for inconvenience that is caused due to the technical difficulties and that network problem. I'm extremely sorry for the organizers also, and I hope even of the participants are benefited by this the session, and I want them to go ahead with their own data and practice it. If you have any questions, then you can ask.